All right, it's another episode of The Growth Show.
Episode 5, y'all.
Episode 5 of The Growth Show. And our last episode, I enjoyed that episode because it talked about excellence and how excellence is usually confused with perfection. Today, we are continuing the Evolved framework, and we are talking about the V in Evolved. What is it?
Which is value-based decisions.
Value-based. Why you sound scared to say that?
I'm not scared. No, I'm never scared.
Value-based decisions. How do we show up as Evolved and make the right decisions? Now, should I ask you?
Making decisions that add value to you and your environment, situation, circumstances.
Yeah, and it's a topic that we all can relate to because all of us make decisions every day, many times a day. I think there is a stat to say that, how the brain makes so many decisions in a given day. And so I think this topic is so relevant to business owners, to workers, professionals, to married people, to couples, because without making the right decision, that will determine the direction of your life, right? And every decision that you make is either keeping you stuck or moving you forward or, God forbid, taking you back.
Yeah.
Yeah? What do you say about decisions?
We don't go back. When we make these decisions, it's for us to be making it in our evolved state.
Yeah. Now, I want to ask Glenn, and I know what he's going to say. Tell me a decision you've made recently that you perhaps... that may have kept you stuck.
Well, I always make perfect decisions. It's you're the one who don't make the good decision. No, I play.
Really? So what we want to do today is share we have 10 decisions. We may not get to all of them. So if we don't get to all of them in the time, we'll tell you how to get access to all of the decisions. But 10 decisions that people make that keeps them stuck.
Yeah, sometimes we make decisions out of fear. Like you're so fearful in the moment, and so you make the decision based on the fear factor.
So that's number one, fear-based decisions, right? And that's making choices because you fear failing, you fear rejection, you fear loss, rather than making a decision that is more aligned with your vision and who you see yourself being, right? So when we think of these types of decisions, any thoughts come to mind around maybe people who've made decisions, or you who've made decisions around fear?
Sometimes we make decisions in the relationship where we fear bringing up certain topics because we don't want to deal with the conflict with your spouse or whoever you're in a relationship with.
Yes.
And so you'll be like, you know what? I know I've done it sometimes where I don't want to engage in an argument or a conflict. Yeah. And it's not often. But there are times when I'm like, you know what? I know this is going to become explosive, or I could anticipate that this is not going to go well because that's not a subject that you're comfortable with. And so I'm trying the fear of offending, I try to avoid the situation. Of course, that's short-lived because it don't last for long. Because once it's in, I got to get it out.
Yeah, and I always know when you have something to say and you trying to be nice and not say it. I could tell because your energy shifts. Yeah. You can't pretend.
I can't fake. Oh God, I can't pretend it.
I will always know. Yeah. So another example from a business standpoint is you avoid raising prices because you are afraid customers are going to leave. Yeah. That's a huge one, right? So you make decisions out of fear. And even when you might stay on someone's job because you're afraid that you can't get another opportunity. Yeah. So a lot of people make these fear-based decisions quite often. Yeah. Number 2, it's a big one. People-pleasing decisions.
Wow.
Prioritizing other opinions or comfort over what's actually right for you.
Trying to get everybody's opinion before you make the final decisions. And people's opinion may not line up with the vision or the goals that you have set for yourself. Yeah. And coupled with the fear factor. Yeah. Because that could be a part of it too. You're afraid of making a decision on your own, and so you need all these different voices before you could come to. Yes.
And I see that so often. It's so interesting. Immediately I thought of a conversation that I had years ago, pre-pandemic. And this was a client that I was coaching, and she wanted to make decision to travel for her career. And she didn't, or she wouldn't, because her parents didn't want her to go.
Wow.
And this is a lady in her 20s, early mid 20s. And I had to literally ask her, I'm like, how old are you?
Yeah.
All right. I mean, she legitimately was making that decision to stay, although it was not appealing to her, although it was not fulfilling, though she started to hate what she was doing because she felt as if she needed to please her parents.
I get a lot of that in my profession as a professor, where students are actually in these degree programs, but they really are not interested in it, but they have to please their parents, or the mom was an accountant, the sister's an accountant, and so now they're expecting you to be an accountant and you totally hate it.
Yeah.
You know?
And then I think at the end of the day, it turns back and bites you because you're no longer fulfilled.
Yeah. I literally had a student who said she's finishing a medical degree, but she had no desire of going in the medical field. She just was doing it to please her parents.
Jesus. Yeah, we can talk about that because I think that's a common one.
What about in the relationship? How could we do the people pleasing? Should it be my job to please you?
Yeah, I agree. However, I think sometimes we sacrifice our personal needs just to please our spouse.
But that's what we're taught. We are taught that
it's a thin line.
Happy wife, happy life. So I'm supposed to suppress all that.
Happy spouse, happy house.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so happy wife, happy life. That's what we're told as men.
Right.
And so we suppress a lot of things just so you could be so happy. And
I like that, and I think that works. And also, I know women who for both parties.
No, it don't work for men. I promise you, it don't work for men. We do it, but it don't work for us.
So you do it to please us.
Yes, and sometimes inside we're dying with the decision.
You dying with the decision to please
No, not me. We don't do happy life, happy wife. We do happy spouse, happy house, because I got to be happy too.
Yeah.
If I'm happy, nobody in the house happy.
Yeah, and it's really a good thing for people who are listening to appreciate, because sometimes we don't even realize that we are making people-pleasing decisions until time passes and we realize, why are we unhappy? Why are we resentful? And then we realize, wow, I've been making these decisions, but I've not considered my own needs, my own desires, my own values.
Pleasing the parents. Or we pleasing the kids. Sometimes we make these decisions to please the children.
Yeah, for sure.
But these children are going to survive. I remember your boss said some things about when she had to work a lot, Rachel Rogers, and she was saying she had to work a lot, and the kids was like, Mommy, we don't get to see you. Mommy, you don't get to do this. And she was like, look, she had to sit them down and say, listen, Mommy has to do this and work so you can enjoy the life that you have. Now, Mommy going to set aside time, but I can't always be with you. And so, and our point was, they're going to live. Those little buggers can live. And so you sometimes have to make those decisions that's going to affect everybody and not just look at just please. And the guilt, especially women do it a lot. The guilt where they feel like, oh my God, I'm neglecting my child. No, I'm not. If I have to go and be gone all day, I'm not neglecting my child.
Yeah, we feel that way. Even from a business standpoint, what comes up often is entrepreneurs taking clients who are not paying, or they don't even really want to work with it because they do not want to disappoint the client. That's huge. You don't want to.
You used to do that.
I used to do that.
But you don't do that no more. You're like, no.
Sorry, I'm evolved.
Yeah, very evolved. Yeah, you used to take these clients like, but why are you doing it, taking it and complaining? And plus the money is not worth it, and it takes so much of your time.
It takes so much, and when you begin to do enough of those types of decisions, and you realize how it's really just on a disadvantage, I don't do it. I'm sorry, I'm not available.
And that's different from taking on charitable work that you make a conscious decision that I'm going to give back. That's different.
Yeah. One last one for people who are on the job is they're taking on these tasks, and you can relate to this. They take in all of the tasks that come to them, and they overwhelmed already.
They don't want to disappoint their boss. They don't want to look like they're a team player.
That's huge. That's huge.
I think I did that a lot in my career coming up, but my motive was different. My motive was, I want to learn as much as I can learn. So when the time comes for me to make my move, I'm knowledgeable. But then sometimes it could become overwhelming doing too much.
Yeah, because sometimes you take on too much and then you spread yourself too thin, and then you still not do a good job, which also disappoints the same person you're trying to please. So there's that real thin line there. I'm going to jump to number 5. The scarcity decision. This is a big one, I think. It's operating from a mindset of lack instead of abundance and a possibility. So from a business standpoint, you're refusing to invest in marketing or refusing to invest in coaching because you are afraid of spending money.
Yes.
Then that same coach, don't get me started.
Start.
That same coach you're afraid to invest in will give you one idea, one strategy, one tactic that will triple that investment. I see it all the time.
I literally just had that conversation with someone about investing in marketing. And so you're saying it's too costly, right? But that same marketing effort could be the thing that's going to grow the business.
That you need, and it's from a scarcity standpoint. And I see clients, and even clients, there's so many examples, and we don't have time for it, but even clients who, here's another scarcity, clients who invest in coaching or programs, and they feel as if they have to get every bit of return from it, like immediately.
Right away.
That's also a scarcity decision. No, you don't have to do that, right? What do you think is a scarcity decision from a relationship standpoint?
That's the question I was just about to ask you.
You was going to ask me because I have the notes.
I was going to ask you that.
What I have here is believing you and your partner have run out of love instead of working to reconnect. That's an interesting one.
That's an interesting one. And women think that a lot. Because I remember we used to...
I still say that from time to time. It's like, this man don't love me.
And I'd be like, don't do that. Don't be that person. Why would you think that? You know?
And it goes so many layers there, but that's definitely one.
And then it's good to open the conversation because me saying, why would you think that, or don't be that person, I could be literally invalidating what it is that you're feeling, and you still didn't get a chance to explain why you felt that way.
That's true. Yeah. That is true. Because
I now made it about me instead of
and what
exploring
I'm feeling.
what you're feeling.
I love that. You've grown that way too.
Evolved me.
Look at you.
They evolved me.
From a career standpoint, this is a really common one as well. Staying in a toxic work environment because you believe there are no better options. That's a scarcity decision.
I literally had my class had that discussion last night. And I don't want to just point on government, but a lot of the persons working in the government area, they were just complaining about these various aspects of their job. And I'm like, so why don't you leave, or why don't you request to go in another area? Because you don't always have to be leaving. Or you're getting this degree now, how are you going to use this to improve the environment? Because you don't always have to leave. You're learning all these things in the higher education. Now, how are you going to use what you learn to impact? It's such a
again, we make these decisions all the time and don't realize that they fall into these categories. I think we have time for one more. And the one that I'm going to talk about there's so much, all of these are so good, but this one is the passive decision. The passive decision is not making a decision at all, which is still a decision.
So you ignore it, it's not going to go away. It's going to end up making the decision in and of itself, or it probably become
I used to do that often. I used to do that often because I wanted to avoid the conflict.
You come a long way, boy. Trust me.
So I would let it pile up.
In the first part of the relationship, you didn't want to deal with nothing. And I'm like, that is just so not sexy. That is just so... It was a turn off. No, I want you to be able to engage me, and it was a turn off. And I used to always say, that's just so weak. And you didn't like that.
I used to say
I used to say that.
That's evil.
I won't say that now because you get a mouth.
You
get a mouth on you now. I created a monster. No, you've grown and you're more expressive, which is what I like.
I'm going to say it from a business standpoint. It's avoiding tough conversations with employees or clients leading to ongoing problems. I've had that in my business as well. I remember that employee where I just avoided it. Until it got to a point where I had to just let it go, and then that was a mess.
The decision still was made.
The decision was made, the passive decision. So at the end of the day, we looked at, I think, 5 out of the 10. We didn't cover all. And really and truly, these are the decisions that are costly. They will keep you stuck. And we haven't talked about the right decision as yet, so you have to come back to the next episode.
6.
if you are listening and you are a team player or you're a team manager or leader and you want us to come in and have a training on your decisions or have train your team on how to make better decisions, call us. That's what we do. That's what we actually do. Or if you want coaching on making better decisions, whether it be in your career or your job or your business or your marriage, also reach out to us. There's going to be an email on the screen, or you can comment below and we can reach out to you. But I want you to stay tuned for the next episode as we go into this. What do you want to say?
Before we go to the next episode, persons may want to know the other 5 that we didn't discuss.
So let me run through them.
No, they could request it and we will.
Okay, so yes, comment decisions down below. And if you resonate with any of the decisions that we shared,
add your input.
Please let us know which decisions that you resonate with, because I think all of us in some way, shape or form have made some of these types of decisions. And of course, as you continue to listen, we have a toolkit that will help you to go through all of these frameworks in this season, and type toolkit below so we can get that over to you. All right, until next time.
Next time, live evolved.
Live evolved.